All right, so today we're diving into some pretty interesting Bitcoin news coming out of crypto news.
Yeah, it's a really a great example of how,
Mhm.
what happened way back when can
Yeah.
still have a big impact on what's happening today.
Exactly. And it all revolves around Mount
Oh,
Gox.
man, Gox. Yeah,
For listeners who maybe weren't around or aware of what happened back then, Mount Gox was the biggest Bitcoin exchange.
by far, yeah.
I mean, they were the exchange back in 2014.
Right.
And then hackers got in and made off with like 850,000 Bitcoin. Huge, just to put that in perspective. 850,000 Bitcoin at today's prices.
Oh, my
We're
God.
talking over $50 billion.
Yeah, you're talking about a really foundational moment
Yeah,
in Bitcoin's history. I mean, that kind of shook the whole market.
totally. I mean, think about it. People lost so much money, and it just kind of made everyone question.
Right. Was this
Yeah.
was this really safe?
Exactly. Is
Yeah.
this even viable as a currency?
Yeah.
And since then, it's been this long, drawn-out process of creditors trying to get back some of what they lost.
Right. Trying to get some kind of
Some kind of
some kind of compensation, some kind of justice.
resolution. And this crypto news article really digs into.
Well, and this is what's so interesting. It's like just when we thought we were getting close
Yeah.
to some closure, they announced another delay for these repayments,
Another one.
pushed all the way back to October 2025.
Wow. So
Un-
we're talking, what, another like year from now?
Yeah, and the thing is, this delay has actually kind of thrown a wrench in things in a way that I don't think a lot of people expected.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break this down for us.
So you've got all these creditors,
Yeah.
right, who've been waiting for years to get their Bitcoin back.
Right.
And the market the entire time has been operating under this cloud of uncertainty.
Because they're going to want to sell, right?
Exactly. Everyone's worried about what's going to happen when all that Bitcoin suddenly becomes available again.
Right.
Like, imagine a dam bursting. It's this massive influx of supply that could potentially flood the market.
And tank the price.
Exactly. Supply and demand 101.
Okay, so then this delay actually takes the pressure off.
For now, yeah. It's like hitting the pause button on that potential flood.
Interesting. And I guess that's why the article mentioned Bitcoin's price actually jumped up
Oh, yeah, like 5.5%.
the day they announced the delay.
Yeah, big jump.
So some people definitely see this as a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. At least in the short term, this delay removes some of that uncertainty, which the market hates.
So is this a buying opportunity then, or just another head fake in the wild world of Bitcoin? So is this a buying opportunity then, or just another head fake in the wild world of Bitcoin?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, crypto news seems to think it might be a good time to buy,
Okay.
but we got to look at it carefully.
Yeah, let's break down their reasoning.
Okay, so their first point
Yeah.
is this whole thing about reduced selling pressure.
Right. All that Bitcoin from Mt. Gox is basically locked away till 2025.
Exactly like hitting the pause button on a potential flood.
Makes sense in the short term, but how long can that last, really?
Good question. I mean, eventually those creditors are going to get their Bitcoin back.
Yeah.
And what they decide to do with it, whether they hold it, sell it.
Or just a little of both.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's going to have a huge impact.
It's a big unknown.
Okay, so maybe not a buy now, worry later
Mhm.
situation then?
No, but I wouldn't say that because crypto news brings up a couple of other really important points.
All right, what else are they looking at?
So their second point is how the market reacted.
To the delay.
Yeah, right when they announced it.
Yeah, we saw that 5.48 jump.
Exactly. Which does suggest some positive sentiment.
So some people are bullish on this.
They are,
Huh.
but is one day really enough to call it a trend?
Good point.
We got to look at the bigger picture.
Okay, so what's their third point then?
Institutional investment.
Okay, you're going to have to break that down for me.
So basically we're talking about the big players.
Like hedge funds, those guys.
Exactly. And they're becoming more and more comfortable with Bitcoin.
Interesting, and why is that so important?
Well, they have a lot more money to play with than the average investor.
Right.
And they tend to think long term.
Right, so they're not just going to sell off their Bitcoin at the first sign of trouble.
Exactly. And that kind of steady hand.
Makes the whole market more stable.
Exactly.
So that's good news, right?
It's potentially very good news, but
Right.
even big institutions get spooked sometimes.
Okay, fair enough. So what could scare them off?
Well, remember, Bitcoin doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Right, there's a whole lot of other stuff going on.
Exactly. So, like, if interest rates keep going up,
Making those safer investments more appealing.
yeah, or if governments start cracking down on crypto with regulations.
Those big investors might get cold feet.
Exactly. And if they pull out, it could have a domino effect.
And tank the price again?
It's definitely a possibility.
Okay, so lots of factors at play here. And I have to say, the crypto news article did mention Bitcoin going through a bit of a rough patch lately.
Oh, yeah. It's been a bumpy ride.
What caused that?
Well, Like we were just saying, there are always multiple factors.
Right.
But those interest rate hikes definitely played a role.
Making Bitcoin look riskier.
Exactly. And then you've got all the regulatory uncertainty.
Still up in the air in a lot of places.
Exactly. And that makes investors nervous.
Which affects the price.
It's all connected.
So it's like trying to predict which way a leaf's going to blow in a hurricane?
Pretty much.
So with all this going on, how can anyone make sense of Bitcoin's price, let alone make an informed investment? So with all this going on, how can anyone make sense of Bitcoin's price, let alone make an informed investment?
Well, it's definitely not easy.
Right.
But the Crypto News article does a technical analysis, which could be helpful.
So walk us through it. What are the key takeaways?
So as of today, October 13th,
Right.
Bitcoin is trading around, let's see, $62,823.
Okay.
And it's facing some resistance.
Resistance.
Yeah, around that $63,444 mark.
Okay, so for people who don't speak crypto, what does resistance actually mean?
Think of it like a ceiling.
Okay.
A price ceiling that's tough to break through. So if Bitcoin can push past that $63,444,
Right.
it could mean it's got the momentum to go even higher.
To the moon?
Well, maybe not to the moon, but the next resistance level is $64,385.
Okay.
And after that, $65,287.
So those are the optimistic scenarios?
Yeah.
But what if things go the other way? What if the price starts to fall?
Well, that's where support levels come in.
Support levels.
You think of them like safety nets
Okay.
or floors that the price bounces off of.
Got it.
The analysis highlights a few key support levels:
Uh-huh.
$62,251,
Okay.
$61,266, and
Then
then,
he gets lower.
yeah, if things really take a dive, $60,279.
Okay, so we've got our ceilings and our floors. Now what about this relative strength index thing I saw?
Yes, the RSI.
The RSI.
It's basically a momentum indicator.
Okay.
It tells us if Bitcoin is overbought or oversold.
So is it like a buy or sell signal?
Kinda, but not exactly.
Oh,
Right now it's
yeah.
at 56,
Okay.
which suggests a slight bullish bias.
So leaning towards buy?
Yeah, but it's not a sure thing.
Okay, so what should we be watching for in the coming days and weeks?
Keep an eye on those resistance and support levels we talked about.
Right.
If Bitcoin breaks through a resistance level, that's a good sign for the bulls.
Bullish.
Yeah,
But if it drops below a key support level,
could be a sign of further losses.
so basically stay tuned.
Exactly.
Okay, before we wrap up, I wanted to circle back to something else the Crypto News article mentioned.
Okay.
This platform called Crypto All Stars.
Oh, yeah.
They've raised something like $2.2 million in their pre-sale,
Right.
and they're connected to Bitcoin somehow.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, so first things first, for those of us who don't live in the crypto world,
Right.
what's a pre-sale?
Good question. Basically, it's like early bird access
Okay,
for buying into a new crypto project,
okay,
usually at a discounted price
got it.
before it becomes publicly available.
Okay, and why is this Crypto All Stars thing important?
Well, the fact that they've raised millions already
Yeah,
suggests there's a lot of interest.
people believe in it. Exactly.
Okay, but how does it tie into Bitcoin?
This is the cool part.
Okay.
Crypto All Stars is actually built on the Bitcoin blockchain.
So they're using Bitcoin's technology.
Yeah, they offer things like staking where users can earn rewards just by holding their tokens.
Right.
And it's all powered by Bitcoin.
So it's like Bitcoin isn't just a currency anymore.
Exactly. It's becoming the foundation for a whole ecosystem.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it really shows you the bigger picture.
Right. So while everyone's freaking out about Mt. Gox and short-term price swings,
Right.
the Bitcoin world is just quietly building and innovating.
Exactly.
Very cool. Well, this has been an incredibly interesting conversation.
It has.
Thanks for breaking it all down for us.
My pleasure.
All right, everyone. Until next time, keep exploring and happy investing.